The big news of the day, depending upon what type of stooge you are. Are you an NFL stooge like we are? Yes. Yep. Aaron Rodgers has reported to training camp on time for the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah!
Now, how he showed up?
Man.
Is hysterical in of itself. I believe that's an homage shirt for The Office. It's incredible quality out of Columbus, Ohio. The shirt was made of a friend of his that he has met, I believe, out at the Lake Tahoe golf thing numerous times. Fan of The Office. The shades look impeccable. The hair is flowing. Hey, hang loose, pal. Aloha. Welcome back to football, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Aaron!
An entire offseason was spent chit-chatting about the future of a Mount Rushmore football player in the history of the NFL, the reigning MVP, the leader of a team that was back-to-back NFC championship losers. Now, with that being said, there was a lot of confusion. There was a lot of conversation. Adam Schefter dropped a atom bomb on draft day that was allegedly weeks later called an accumulation of information. At the time, it was considered breaking news from league and team sources. So we're not 100% sure how we should read that message. We're not 100% sure how we should read the messages that came after that. What we do know was there was definitely a problem between Aaron Rodgers and the front office of the Green Bay Packers. Was that just Gunther Kuntz? Was that Mark Murphy? Was that everybody? I don't think we'll ever know, to be honest. I'm not 100% sure we'll ever know. Maybe we will throughout this season on a particular day of the week that I do believe is going to be happening again.
What? Wait a minute.
Whoa. I mean, to be honest, I didn't know enough about this situation to fully understand what was going to go down. I had no idea if he was going to go. I had no idea if he was going to force them into trading him. I had no idea how this was going to pan out, especially after the years and years and years and years of disrespect. He feels, I believe publicly this has now come out, that the front office of the Packers have treated its players with for a long time.
Yep.
Everybody, and I just heard dumbass Sean O'Hara on Good Morning Football this morning. I heard him talking, and well, they drafted Jordan Love and made him upset. It was like, how many times have they all had to come out and say that Jordan Love being drafted in the first round, getting traded up to do it, definitely a part of it, but that is not Jordan Love being drafted is the whole thing. It's the way they treat the players, the way they treated the team, the way they treated him, the way they treated everybody. Going back to Brett Favre, you can go through this entire thing. The way the Packers have handled situations amongst their best players is something that I think a lot of people have taken issue with, but nobody has ever took a stand and said, hey, this ain't how this is fucking going anymore. Aaron Rodgers had the ability to do so. He was at the point in his life where I think he is okay with the, his resume and what he's been able to achieve, where he was able to take a stand and say, listen, I'm fucking done with the way you guys treat people. I'm done with the way you guys operate. You try to run people out of town, even though you have a plethora of money that we have learned about now, especially after the shareholders meeting yesterday where they made $120 million in investments. That money just goes into a pot, a fund, a slush fund that they're allowed to use for whatever. So I think we all got a chance to learn a lot more about the way the Green Bay Packers operate. We got a chance to learn about how Aaron really feels, how ex-players really feel. And then we also got a chance to see sellouts on TV talk about this thing.
Yeah. Few of them. Fair amount.
There's some people who have completely forgot what it's like to be in a locker room whenever your teammate's going through a business situation. And you always try to keep the business and personal shit separated, but whenever you see something happening business-wise to somebody who's much better than you are on the team or much more important on the team, that is not something you hold against the player. That is something you watch, you carefully study, you realize, oh, this could potentially happen to me, but inevitably, this is for them to settle. Whenever he gets back, we're going to go for it. Listening to some of these ex-players talk about this situation has been an embarrassment for the league and for players. Just want to let that be known. Aaron Rodgers was doing something, I think, that wasn't just for him, even though that's what the media, some ex-players that were on TV were trying to spin, and also a lot of fans were like, this selfish prima donna prick. These people who never watched Aaron Rodgers Tuesday last year, maybe they'll watch it this year. Aaron Rodgers Tuesday last year, and got a chance to really learn about a guy who never talked, kind of kept to himself. I think it has come out now through his friends and through other people that Aaron wasn't just doing this for himself in this particular situation. This is also for future Jordan Love, potentially, whenever he becomes the face of the Green Bay Packers and the future Packers, and the way this team that doesn't have an owner has operated. Now it ends with Aaron showing up at camp with a gentleman's agreement, I believe, that next year he's basically going to be a free agent. There's going to be some moves made made that he's going to be a part of. There's conversation pieces they've set up. Allegedly, now this is all via a Schefter ESPN.com article that he released yesterday at about 4 o'clock or so about the agreement that was made between Dave Dunn, Aaron Rodgers, Mark Murphy, and Gunther Kuntz about how we can get Aaron Rodgers back in the building, but also what do we need to give up for Aaron to potentially want this. And a lot of things were won on the Aaron Rodgers side in this conversation and in the player side going forward, I think, in this conversation. Although everybody on TV, not everybody, a lot of people on TV that are ex-players like, oh, this was Orlovsky even. Fucking Orlovsky.
Oh, yeah. Kidding me, dude.
Orlovsky.
He was hammering that drum this morning.
Like, oh, all for him just to show up. He's now basically a free agent after this year. He's given everybody knows now, okay, he's got 1 year here, and he's spotlighted issues that were potentially in the Green Bay Packers front office that maybe the rest of the world didn't realize and could get worked on for future generations of Packers players. I lost a lot of respect for a lot of people talking on TV this morning, to be honest with you. Is that because I am friends with Aaron? I'm not friends with Aaron. But is it because I am friendly on Aaron Rodgers' side? Yes. And know that I'm going to be on the side of greatness almost 10 times out of 10 when it comes to athletics. That's just how it's going to be. But Aaron has been very nice to us, very good to us. So I might have a little bit of a biased opinion. But if it wasn't Aaron and it was somebody else who I didn't know and never understood or never got to meet, and they were fighting for something that they felt was complete bullshit towards players for a long time, if I was a former player, I'm not putting a suit on just going being a fucking sellout and talking about that as big whiff or being a miss. Much thoughts are changed about Dan Orlovsky today than they were yesterday.
Yeah.
I actually complimented him on how he looked on TV before hearing what came out of his mouth on TV. I sent him a text. I said, Dan, you look like a man dime, dude. Right now, he had a blue shirt on, just came out of that sewage quarry he was in yesterday.
That's right.
And his eyes looked great. His tan looked unbelievable. And then he said, basically, all this was for him just to show up. It's all a big sideshow. It's like, whoa, the sideshow was created by somebody at your building. Okay, Adam Schefter was the one that created the entire building. I guess everybody kind of knew this was kind of a secret or whatever. Aaron never said anything, which hindsight, incredibly intelligent move because he can say, I didn't say anything. Mark Murphy said a couple things that were trying to drive a wedge. Schefter, the media, some of his old teammates. AJ didn't say anything somehow.
No.
I don't know how AJ didn't say anything.
Me neither.
He knew, I think, for a very long time how this was probably going to end, and he had said it, by the way. He said he's going to play, he's going to play for Green Bay is what AJ said long time ago. He doesn't see how he ends up moving, but it all big to-do ends with him showing up at training camp and everybody saying, well, there was no reason for it. It's like, well, I think there was a reason for it, actually. Now he's going to get a chance to choose where he wants to go. They can still make it right, by the way. It was a couple that was going to break up, but they weren't ready for the breakup yet. Give us some time to brace for it and figure it out. Maybe we can get back on good terms. At least we can have another year run at this thing. The last chance.
Ooh, love that.
The last chance for them to potentially go win, get it right, figure it out, or they're going to have to move to Jordan Love. Aaron Rodgers is going to move on. I'm excited for it. I'm excited that the drama's behind us. Seems like he and his teammates get along well. Still videos of him dapping people up and chit-chatting with people. I believe Bakhtiari might have been on his...
Oh. Wow.
I don't know.
Maybe.
No, there's pictures of him. But his plane was tracked last night. Now he's in there. Let's go. Let's get to football.
Here we go, baby. Play some ball. Yeah, like you said, you can finally just kind of exhale, you know?
Yes.
It's nice. Like, we've talked about it for a while, and I said it a long time ago. I mean, it did kind of seem like it was going to be the Brady Belichick situation where, he's going to orchestrate that he wants out after this year, but he would come back for one more year. So it's nice that, it's finally over and done with. And to your point about the stuff in the locker room, this whole offseason when this stuff would...
There's a lot of people talking, okay?
I mean, the whole offseason, when stuff would happen, those guys would always say, hey, we just want him back here. He's got the business stuff that he rightfully needs to get figured out. No one was saying, this fucking prima donna. And
none of his teammates.
No, you didn't. And you didn't even... I mean, every once in a while, I feel like when something like this happens, there will be, a couple anonymous players, the quotes will come out saying, yeah, this is bullshit. He's putting himself before the team. You didn't hear any of that stuff. Everyone was basically just saying, yeah, he's got to get this stuff figured out. That's his right. He feels like he's been wronged. We got his back. We're ready for him to be back.
And there's a lot of people speaking for NFL locker rooms right now in public places that I don't appreciate. And I'm not saying that I'm the guardian, okay, like a Cleveland baseball player.
Sure.
I'm the guardian of what an NFL locker room is, but maybe our locker room was just different, and maybe the relationships that I had with people were different. But when people had to handle business, it was yo, they got to handle their business. Me and Reggie Wayne never spoke to each other. Only human in my entire life that I've been around that we never really spoke. Now, since we've gotten a chance to know each other a little bit, I think we have spoke and stuff like that. He was going through business shit though, okay? Early, whenever I got there. And everybody was like, Reggie would have to go and there would be like some conversation that'd be happening or whatever, and he'd be pissed off and he'd come back over. As soon as he'd come back over, by the way, I just watched the older guys be like, all right, hey, here we go. Like, it ain't about that, right? Like, that's a part of it. Everybody that's in the NFL understands it's a fucking business. Like, everybody understands that's in the NFL. Now, guys love the game, okay? Guys love the game. That's how they got to the NFL. But when you get into the NFL, it is a business. So to listen to some of these guys that have been in NFL locker rooms speak and say, he's disrespected his teammates or whatever. It's like, you're disrespecting the fucking locker room for doing what you're doing right now, because that is not how I experience it at all. Every experience I've ever had when it came to strictly business shit, which is what this seemed like.
Right.
Everybody in the locker room was like, hey, don't count other people's money. Don't be pocket watching. Don't be worrying about what anybody else is doing. He's got to figure that out. And when Aaron gets back in there, they're all going to be fucking pumped. And that's not a shot against Jordan Love, but that's them actually, I think, appreciating what Aaron maybe did for the future of the Packers and the players, for him getting a deal done. And also, we get the MVP of the NFL back. Let's go. Happy we figured this out. I mean, it's just, there's been some things that have been out of pocket, I believe, from a lot of people, and I don't necessarily enjoy that at all.
Well, can you imagine, like, if someone in the Colts locker room when you were there was, like, bitching about Peyton if he had to, I mean, it's like, it's a very, when Rodgers plays this year, he will be the longest tenured Packer ever. It's like one of the most storied franchises in the history of sports. Like, guess what? That guy has room and cachet to, like, if business shit isn't going his way and he thinks he's been wronged, like, he has 1,000% right to, hey, I need to get this figured out before I come back.
Players are on the player's side, okay? That's just how it is. I remember there was a golf course that was built around a facility in the NFL. Okay?
Really?
I had heard this story, yeah. It's not necessarily a story that I am directly involved with, might be, but it might also be somewhere else in the NFL. But per my sources, I've heard a story that there was a golf course built around a practice facility. Said practice facility hadn't been updated for 10, 15 years. So the starting quarterback of the team said, fuck that. Ain't nobody going on that goddamn golf course until we get this place turned around in here. And everybody there are a lot of great golfers on that team from what I've been told. There's a lot of people that loved golf. Golf course looked very nice. As soon as that person said, fuck that, we ain't doing that, literally everybody was like, fuck that, we ain't doing that. And that course never saw a club for 2 years from anybody from the locker room. Now, front office, allegedly, front office and other people, they might have used said golf course that was built, but you did not see a player on there strictly because the head person who said, we ain't doing it, you didn't want us to be seen by that person actually on there. That is just a story I have heard, but that type of thing rings true everywhere, especially in the Packers locker room. So now we got people saying, oh, locker room's going to be like, okay, like, are you with us or are you not? It's like, nobody's asking that question. Nope. That is not a real, actual depiction of what's going on in the Packers locker room right now. The people that aren't good enough to make the team, they're only worried about making the team. And the people that are on the team that are going to keep that team afloat for the next 10 years, they're appreciative of what Aaron did because they don't want to get fucked over like Aaron has and Brett has and Jordy has and Kumro has and Cobb has. You just go through the list of people that have got run, the people that have got run out of town that have been greats there, where maybe if there's an owner or something else we can keep them around. It's just like one of those things where I think everybody that's talking negative about the drawback or reaction about this whole situation within the locker room is completely full of shit, and they've completely forgot everything that they had to experience whenever they were in there.